just wanted to say the response to the last video was incredible and the comments have been super heartwarming. It's I don't know, it's weird, like I just followed my heart with this and I'm trying to just make it happen. USA at the moment is currently flying to Ireland, I hope. And yeah, it'll be awesome when he gets here. I managed to get some merch made up. We collaborated with a guy called Davey Love and he done an incredible job on this t-shirt design, and he done a sticker as well for USA. USA's got his own stickers as well that I think he's designed, that he's making up. So the t-shirts and stickers will be a limited run. There'll be 150 of them just to try cover the costs. I said in the last video that it'd be awesome if like the audience kind of helped the crowdfund bringing him over to get him to enjoy his car. So we're doing up 150 t-shirts, 150 stickers. I think that'll be pretty awesome. Like I want to keep this limited. I'm going to do a pre-order on the site. We're going to sell some on the day for the event at 86 Festival, which is on this Sunday, and then the rest will go online. So we'll do a pre-order and then close it at 150. So if any of you guys want to support this little adventure, this design and sticker t-shirt design will be on our store for the week, and then we'll be closing to fulfill the orders. If you're interested, please consider purchasing a t-shirt to support this, to support bringing them over. It would mean a lot to me and it would be just super cool. The real reason why I just got these t-shirts and stickers and stuff made up and these posters, if it works out, is because I just wanted to make him feel special. I guess he's been out of the limelight for almost 20 years, so I just thought it'd be super cool that if he lands in Ireland, his car is here, and we've got a t-shirt made up and some stickers, like, and I just thought it might make him feel like, you know, a bit of a superstar, so I thought it would be just so cool to do this. If you guys want to support this mission, I know people said it in the comments of the last video, how could they help? Well, I'll leave a link below so you can buy a t-shirt if you want to support. So a lot of people were asking for the Japan with a Plan playlist also. It's in the link below also. It's a YouTube playlist because a lot of these songs just seem to not exist on Spotify. A lot of people ask me about, hey, I'm going to Japan, Neil, in a few weeks. Do you have any tips or anything like that? Anything you would suggest? So I figured I would make one of these videos. I made one after Japan in a van, but I figured I'd just make another one to kind of summarize the last trip. I've done 2 trips to Japan in the last like 2 months, which probably makes sense now to people that are watching because I actually had to go there in July and do my license so then we could race at Fuji Speedway, which we just got back from like last week, which was the K4 GP. I can't wait to get those videos out, but yeah. So I've been to Japan quite a bit in the last month, so I thought it'd be nice just to make this video to give people tips about how they could probably make their trip a little bit easier, because at least 10 times a day I get a message asking, hey Neil, going to Japan, what would you recommend shop-wise, or how would you do it? I could just send people this video and just go, hey, I made a video about this, and hopefully this helps people, because a lot of people do get inspired from our series, I guess, especially Japan in a van. Yeah, a Japan trip is expensive. I've seen some comments where people were like, I'd love to go to Japan, but I'm poor. But like, I wanted to go there since I was a kid, and I only got to go there when I was like 26. So like, to finally get to Japan after all my obsession with all this car stuff, it is not cheap, but you can try and do it as cheaply as possible. I'll just use Ireland as an example, but we fly with KLM. It's the most direct way. I use a combination of like Skyscanner and Google Flights through like incognito, so it's not saving my cookies or anything like that. I clear my browser and try and make sure it's like a fresh search so the prices don't get up. I don't know if that's real, but I just do that anyway because that's what I heard years ago. Yeah, we fly with KLM, 1,400 euros roughly for the flights. Dublin to Amsterdam in Schiphol, and then Schiphol then to Narita. There's different flights you can get. There's like Finnair, there's loads of different things, British Airways, depending on what country you're in. Usually the cheaper the flight, the longer the flight, and because it takes us about 26 hours to get to Japan from Ireland, including like traveling to the airport, waiting around, flying, and then getting to our destination, it's usually like we'll be awake for like nearly a full day. So I try and just get the cheapest but like shortest travel time possible. The airlines are getting pretty sneaky now, so like you have to check in a 23 kg bag, which is kind of annoying. It used to be part of the fee, but on the last trip that we went on, I had a bunch of parts that I'd bought in Japan from Andrew Joyce, so I brought a second suitcase, and it was only like 50 euros to check in that suitcase, and then I filled that with stuff to bring home. So if you are going to Japan shopping for car parts or just stuff because the yen is so weak at the moment, I would recommend bringing a second suitcase, because that's way cheaper than shipping all your stuff home via like Kruber or like one of these things. Like, I mean, for 50 to like 100 euros or dollars, you can completely pack like a massive suitcase, and there's a 23 kg limit. So I actually brought a load of clothes that I didn't want also, and I took out some of the clothes, and I had 2 suitcases, and I put like an oil cooler in there, steering wheels, RC shells. I went crazy, because the yen is literally super cheap at the moment, so I'm trying to take advantage of it. Roughly from Ireland, 17 hours of traveling. Different from the UK, different from Europe, I'd imagine, but yeah, flights are not cheap, so unfortunately. You might, like, I know the guys from Night Ride told me to get flights for like 600 euros from Poland, so you could probably fly to different countries and find the best way, but from Dublin to Narita is like 17 hours of traveling, which is sad, and yeah, it's like 1,400 euros. And the number one thing people ask me when they message me is, hey, like, how do I buy a car and drive around Japan? Unfortunately, unless you know somebody, that's like basically impossible. Unless you want to just like chance it, which I wouldn't recommend, because the cops in Japan are pretty scary, I guess. They seem super nice until things go wrong. I've heard some horror stories. But you can't buy something in Japan and just drive around in it, because the car has to be registered to somebody, and it has to have shaken, which is inspection, which like in Ireland we have the NCT, but yeah, it has to have a plate and everything has to be in order. Each time we've gone to Japan, we've known somebody. We knew a guy called Steve, which gave us the Alphard, so then we could just drive around in that. That was actually registered and in his name on his insurance, and he was giving us that vehicle. That's why we could do it each time. And in 2016 we had an El Grande, and that was in his insurance also. This time we had the Pro Box with Andrew. We had a booking and stuff, but everything had fallen apart because we were in quarantine. So then Andrew felt bad and he gave us his Pro Box, which was actually his daily driver. He just had a spare car at the time, so he allowed us drive that. But that was in his name, his insurance. It's fully road legal, so that's why we could just drive around in somebody's car. And yeah, a lot of people won't really do that for you. My suggestion is getting a rental if you have the budget. Now, a lot of people can go to Japan and travel and use rail networks and like trains and buses and stuff to get around. It depends on what kind of a holiday you want to have. If you want to go to Daikoku, go to racetracks, go to tuning shops and stuff like that, you will most likely have to rent a car, because a lot of these places are inaccessible via public transport. So I would recommend renting a car. For some reason, Japan is experiencing a massive tourism boom, so it's really difficult to get your hands on a car, so probably booking in advance. The trip we just got back from there in August was like, we weren't sure of the dates and everything, so I was kind of leaving it to the last minute to book, and it was quite hard for me to find a rental. We managed to get one with Nissan. We got this Nissan Kicks for 18 days, and it was like 120,000 yen, which is probably like 800 or 750 euros or something, which is a little bit expensive. But we had the ETC card also, because if you go with mates and you're going through like toll booths, which are pretty much every road that will get you places quicker, you will have to pay a toll. There's tolls everywhere. If you want to go to Daikoku, there's a toll. If you want to go to like across the Rainbow Bridge or like any of those parking areas and all that stuff, it's all private roads that are run by a company called Nexco. And everywhere you go in Japan, if you want to get there efficiently, you're going to have to pay a toll, unfortunately. With the rentals, you can usually get your hands on an ETC card, and yeah, it'll just come off the card. And then when you go back to hand in the rental, then they will give you back the cost. I think we did like 500 euros in ETCs, because we did about 4,500 kilometers on the last trip. So yeah, I get asked a lot as well, actually, where to go and what to do. I always say to people, and I probably look like I'm coming across pretty rude, but if you have no ideas, maybe use some of our videos for a guide, or Alexi's videos, or other people that are doing stuff in Japan. If you see any shops or places or locations that catch your interest, just make a list of them, and you can build your own itinerary then to suit. So like, I love 8.6s and I love like certain, you know, cars and stuff. So I kind of build an itinerary for Japan around the stuff I want to see. Everyone's trip will be different with the stuff that you want to do. So I would highly recommend just watching lots of stuff, doing lots of Google research, figure out where the shops are, and then try and plan things out, because most days you'll probably only get to like 2 or 3 places due to traffic and how spread out everything is. Like, you think you're going to just hit all these tuning shops, but are like, you know, tracks and stuff, but you're going to get food and you're going to get stuck in traffic. So like most of the times you'd probably get like 3 or 4 shops if you're lucky, and that would take the entire day. So just figure out what you want to do on your adventure and where you want to go, what places you want to see. I always tell people, just use our videos as a guide, you know, for shops to see. And like, if you want to go see parking areas or racetracks and that, like, these places are all spread out in different cities, so like you're not going to get to as many places as you think you're going to get to. Also, shops are usually working, so like we've showed up to a lot of places uninvited over the years, which you can do, but as the older I get, the more I realize that like shops probably don't really want to see that, especially with the influx of tourism. So just be cautious and make sure that you're courteous. I always like show up to a shop and I have like Google Translate with like Sumiman saying like, I'm sorry, I know you guys are really busy and working, but I'm a really big fan of your shop and I'm just passing through. Sorry for disturbing you, I hope it's okay. And if they're not feeling, you know, us being there and stuff, I just say, I'm sorry, and I just leave. And that has happened to us, you know, because people are probably working. It's like a Tuesday and they're busy. So I always try and be super polite and show up with like a nice message and tell them where I'm from and that I want to maybe buy some stuff. I always try to buy stuff at these shops also, like stickers or just parts, just to let them know that that's why I'm there. Yeah, Japanese people are usually not really able for just like uninvited cruisers rocking up, so just be cautious of it. It usually works out, but on our last trip we were a little bit unsuccessful with a few places. I noticed people are less enthusiastic, so yeah, just be cautious of that. A lot of Googling and a lot of research, and just build out like lists of places and things you want to do and what's feasible. Look at it all on Google Maps and just see how far away things are and that, and just take into consideration traffic and distance between places. A really top tip is go to Google and type in the track, and it will come up on the side of Google, and you will see like the website, and you can actually click into the website of that track. And if you go to race schedule, you can see what's going on the weeks you will be there for, like Nikko, Abisu, Tsukuba, all that. That's how we find out about so many different events that are happening. And then we try and go to these things while we're in Japan. So like, we found out about 86 Festival that was on at Fuji, and that was on while we were doing the endurance race. And then the 86 Festival was on at Okayama when we were there with Monster doing the endurance, like the actual main race. So we got to travel to that. Yeah, that's a very, very convenient thing that you can do. Other things that I do is I follow people that are interested in the same stuff as me in Japan, because usually they will talk about or post up events that are happening, like 86 meets, or like, you know, like, I don't know, like Nismo Festival, all these different things. So you will actually find out when stuff is on, because a lot of Japanese people are very active in the scene, and they will share the posters for certain events and that. So that's how I try and find out what's happening at the time. Someone has actually made a really cool map legend with all the different tracks and tuning shops in Japan. Like, so someone put a lot of time and effort into this, and I will put a link to this in the description below, because it's very useful for like mapping out where you want to go, what tracks you want to see. So yeah, super, super useful Google Map legend. So I'll leave that in the description also. Food. So many people ask me about food, like, oh, I'd love to go to Japan, but I don't think I could eat the food. But they have all the same stuff we have. So they have very traditional stuff that you do not need to try, like octopus ball, like crazy stuff like that. If you don't feel adventurous with the food and you just want to go there for the car culture, like, no problem. But they also have KFC, 7-Elevens with like, you know, Western food and drinks and stuff, McDonald's, they have everything. I'm going to say it now, like, and you know, a lot of people don't want to admit this, but like, I love Japanese food, don't get me wrong, I love trying stuff, but sometimes when you're on the road, you really don't want to be too adventurous if you're going to be in the van for a long time. We had a lot of McDonald's on our trip, like we always eat a lot of McDonald's, and it's super cheap. I think it's like 4.80 like in euros for a meal at the moment, because the yen is so weak. Yeah, I don't want to like be that guy, but I eat a lot of Mackie D's when we're in Japan, just because they're everywhere and it's reliable and convenient and it's cheap and it's quick. So do not fear, if you're not that adventurous with food, you'll have no problem in like a 7-Eleven or a Lawson finding just like very regular stuff to eat, and it's usually nearly tastier than what you would find at home. I've been to Japan all different times of the year now. A lot of people say autumn and spring are the best times to go because the weather is so predictable. Rainy season is usually like, I think like May and June-ish, and like it could be quite wet. Then July and August, which we were just there, is like, you know, typhoon season starts coming in, so there's some crazy storms which might mess up some events. We were there in spring, not too, like in last year, cherry blossom season. It was super beautiful, very calm and nice weather. And then I haven't been there in autumn yet, but people have told me that that's incredible. I would recommend going to Japan for auto salon, because January the weather was quite tame, blue skies, it was like 15 degrees. And if you want to condense as much car stuff into a holiday as possible, you got auto salon, you've got all the meets leading up to auto salon, and afterwards Daikoku is packed every night of the week. You can go to some tuning shops, there's track days on Nikko, Mobara. You literally can squeeze so much into that trip. I think the January trip that we did this year for Autosalon was the most action-packed, like condensed trip without really going out of our way to try. Like, we stayed in Tokyo for 2 weeks and every night was like crazy. And we brought some new people with us and they really appreciated how much we got to see in such a short amount of time. If I was recommending somebody first time to go to Japan, I would 100% recommend going to Autosalon and everything that's going on around that time, because it's just perfect car tourism. From my experience, the Kanjo and the street drifting has really died down, because like it seems like the cops are really on it. So like even on the last 2 trips, like we really didn't do any of that, because like it just seems to be few and far between. And our friends that do that stuff, they were kind of eager to do it with us, but I didn't want to throw them under the bus considering what's going on. If you go to Japan and you're interested in cars and you do your research like we do for our trips, and you plan it and you figure out what you're going to do every day, like between the car stuff and the tourism, you're going to have an incredible time. Japan is experiencing a tourism boom at the moment, so a lot of the like tourist hotspots. On the trip in July, I went to a lot of tourist spots in Kyoto and that and everything, and it was completely overrun. But it was still lovely, like, you know, look, there's so many people going there at the moment because of TikTok and Instagram and videos like this and stuff. People are, you know, glorifying Japan, and it's like incredibly busy. But you're gonna have a blast if you go. So many people want to go and they're always messaging me asking for tips and stuff, and I would just say, just save up. It took me a long time to get there, and eventually I managed to save up enough money to go on a trip, and it is really expensive and it is going to be like somewhat financially crippling, but I think the memories will last longer than being upset about the money that you're missing out on. So if you have, you know, any idea that you want to go there, just start putting some money away and try to figure out a way of doing it. If you're younger, I don't know what to say. Like I wanted to go there since I was about 12, and I didn't get there till I was 26. So I know with more YouTubers doing all this kind of stuff, it makes me want to go there even more. But like, it took me so long to go to Japan or even own a Japanese car that was worth putting on the internet. So like, I would say have patience for a lot of people, because when you're young, you just see other people that are young that maybe have that stuff. But like, it took me a very long time to do any of this stuff. I think if you save and you want something so bad, you will make it happen. The yen is weak at the moment. I'm not sure how long that will last for, but I think you should try and make the most of it in the next year if you can. You can go to like a Matsuri and do all that kind of stuff, which would be super awesome if you have the budget to do it. I've never had the budget to do a Matsuri. It's like definitely more expensive maybe than what I did with the 8.6 and that, but I don't know. I would love to do something like that someday. As just a normal tourist that wants to consume car culture, I would highly recommend Autosalon. Yeah, this video was probably a bit of a ramble. I wanted to make this for ages. I hope stuff helped here. If anyone has any information that would also help people, please leave it in the comments. People are always going to know more than me about this. So if you have any tips for people, please leave it in the comments, because then people can search the comments and I will pin a couple of posts saying read the comments for other tips. I know there's probably cheaper rentals. You can rent Skylines and Integras and do all that kind of stuff. I've never done any of that, but that's all there also. There's so much more that you can do, and I haven't even done like 20% of what is possible. So like, if anyone has any other tips or any other comments or wants to correct anything that I've said, please do so in the comments. I'm more than happy. This would be a nice video to give people a reference on what to do and how to plan a trip to Japan. Hey, I just realized also when I was editing this, I forgot to mention accommodation. So a lot of people are always surprised when we go to Japan that we don't book anything. Like, I never book. I might book the first night in Tokyo or wherever we land, because you need to put it on the so Japan will make you fill out like a form, kind of like they do in the US and stuff, and it'll want to know the location of where you're staying and stuff. So I usually book like the first night somewhere. I'm not sponsored by Booking or any of this stuff, but we use booking.com, and we have the application tracking us, so like it knows where we are. So I usually search in the area that I'm in, and usually like a really cheap hotel will come up. The average room price if you're on the road in like a Route Inn or a APA, which is another good hotel, or the R9s, is usually about like 30 to 40 euros. I don't know if that's cheap in other places, but it's pretty cheap considering how expensive hotels are in Ireland at the moment. Yeah, because we always leave our plan pretty loose. We kind of just go wherever we want. and just book as we go. So yeah, I forgot to put in the accommodation thing, so I'm sorry. But yeah, booking.com or similar websites, and just book as you are in the location. Like if you're in Nagoya, just check that area. If you're in Osaka, anywhere in the middle of nowhere, usually there's something close, like a random, like old, like could be a motel or something. Just check the reviews. I've stayed in some pretty dodgy places on our trip, so I really hope you enjoyed the Japan with a Plan series. I poured my heart and soul into it, and it was possible because of people supporting me on the Patreon and stuff like that, because I've managed to just like leave my full-time job, and now I'm trying to do this full-time. So I spent the last like few months just buried in this room, putting my heart and soul into those videos, and the response has been incredible. It's insane that I'm able to somehow achieve and live out these fantasies through social media and YouTube and all the following that you guys have given me over the years with my friends, and we can do all this mad stuff, and it means the world to me. I wouldn't be able to do it without the support from like the ad revenue on here and like the Patreon and stuff to float me along somehow. So if you are appreciating everything that's happening here with Juicebox, please consider supporting on the Patreon. Yeah, and if you support the USA thing, please consider buying a t-shirt or a sticker and stuff. I will give a discount to people on Patreon for the merch, so yeah, keep an eye out for that. But I'll leave a link to the playlist below for Japan with a Plan and the shop to buy the USA stuff. And if you are in Ireland and would like to see USA in person and all the stuff that's going on with the Bride Car, please think about coming to 86 Festival on Sunday this week, because I just made this video today, and I'll have my 86 there, and we will have hopefully a D1 driver. I hope you enjoyed Japan with a Plan. I have loads more content coming up, so thank you as always, guys. Double thumbs up, I don't know why, but yeah, for everyone that's coming Sunday, see you guys Sunday, and we'll keep you posted about USA and what's going on over the week. So chat soon, take care, bye.